Hey everybody, welcome to Boardgame Heaven. My name is Raymond, and today I'm going to do a cracking unboxing of the new edition of HeroQuest, this time published by Hasbro and Avalon Hill. Now, I've been looking forward to doing some videos on this game for a long time. I've played the original years ago, of course. I have the original game in my collection, painted the minis, and now that Hasbro and Avalon Hill have made a new edition of HeroQuest with new miniatures and all kinds of new stuff, I cannot wait to show you all of that and some expansions as well. But before I open up the box and show you the contents, I'd like to ask you to please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you have, you're an absolute legend. That really does help the channel a lot. And if you'd like to support what I do, there's also a Patreon page. The link is in the description below. And supporters of my channel are Patreon saints, and they get early access to all of my videos, access to Patreon exclusive content, their name in the credits, of course, and you save up for physical goodies such as the Boardgame Heaven pin. All right, let's open up the box and check out what's inside. So here it is, the HeroQuest game system, high adventure in a world of magic. What a nice looking box. A modernized version of the classic artwork, which is of course this one by Les Edwards, which is amazing. I love it still. I love it so much. And this was a wider and a bigger box all around, but not taller, of course. It was quite thin. MB had a lot of those boxes at the time. But now we have a little bit more compact box, but it is, of course, taller. Let's take a look at the back of the box. And here, of course, you see the game in play, the board with the 3D doors, the furniture, the miniatures, the dice, the cards. There's some miniatures depicted here. The heroes are over here. You see some cards, a little bit of lore there. The contents are listed. And the quest continues, and this is what the game is about, of course. So, without further ado, let's open up the box. Here we go. Oh, look at that. Again, the cover art without any other text on it, except for the logo. That is pretty cool. This is a sleeve that sits around a tray. Let's see, is a single or a double tray? It's a double tray, I think, with miniatures and dice. So let's take a look at this first. That is lovely art. I like it. It's a modernized version, of course. It looks different from the original, but it's a really nice representation. The back is just black. All right, I'll look at the miniatures last and the dice. So we have, yeah, this is a single tray, or there's some cardboard below it to strengthen it, I guess. So we have that. We'll take a look at that in a bit. Then we have some punch boards with a bit of protective paper there. So let me take that off. Let's see. Is that stuck together? Yes, it is. So I'll have to rip this to take it all out. Do it like that. All of that is stuck together, it seems. All right, now I'll have to pull them out one by one. And of course, the Game Master screen. All right, that was that. All right, the Game Master screen. That is so cool. There are the minions of evil, the minions of Zargon, or Morcar, as he was called in Europe. But now this is an American edition, of course, so it's still Zargon. And in the back, what we believe is Mentor with Lore Tome, who guides the heroes on their quests. So we have all the different kinds of monsters in their modernized version depicted here. And on the back, there's a reference for the Dungeon Master player. And you can see all the rules, basically, what the heroes can do, what the monsters can do, the monster chart with their movement, attack dice, defense dice, their body points, and their mind points. There's a combat summary here, and that's basically all you need to know. So that's pretty nice. I like that. Let's put that over there. Then we have a punch board with these skull tokens. We have some walls here, some double square walls. There's a token here. There's the stairs. That's of course the entrance and exit of the dungeon in most cases. We have pit traps, we have boulder traps, or just blocked passages. You can turn it around. Usually I use these cleaner bricks for the blocked passages, and the rubble is more for the fallen boulder trap. We have secret entrances, secret doors, and different kind of stairs if you want to switch it up. And we have these portcullises here and another side of that token. So that looks pretty nice. We have the quest books and the rule book. The quest book and the rule book. Quest book, of course, I'm just going to quickly flip through because I don't want to spoil everything, even though I guess the quests are exactly the same as the original game. Here is a little bit of a intro that you can read. We have the trial. Yes, that is the same one. I don't know if this is exactly the same, but does look like it. The rescue of Sir Ragnar. The lair of the Orc Warlord. All these quests, yep, Prince Magnus's Gold are very familiar. Malar's Maze. The legacy of the Orc Warlord, etc. And every quest has its own special rules written in here, which is of course for the Dungeon Master to read and to know, not for the players. They'll have to discover that. Fire Mage, Raids Against Time, Castle of Mystery. With the portals, was that an original one? Bastion of Dread? Could be some new ones in here. Hey, the Barrow of the Witch Lord. So that's already in here. Was that in the original? Yeah, I think the Return of the Witch Lord was the expansion, and this was the first encounter. Return to Barrack Tor. Yeah, I do remember that. And of course, the famed Design Your Own Adventures map, where you can copy and draw in your own adventures. And you can also copy this and then stick them in, or you can just draw them. There's even an online tool for that. Here are all the monsters with a bit of background and their art, which is really nice, and the end of the game. All right, let's continue. So this is the rule book, which is rather thin, of course, because this is not a rule-heavy game. Using this rule book, take note. There's information and instructions for Zargon and for the heroes. That's what the token is for. Okay, interesting. So there we go. A bit of an overview, how that works, how to set up the game, how the quest book works, of course, the maps. You've got character sheets, which are again the same as the old American version of the game. Treasure cards, artifact cards, monster cards, and dread spells, which used to be chaos spells when it was still partially owned by Games Workshop. They had to change those names, of course. So that's pretty cool. Here's a bit of a lore, once again. To begin the quest, they kind of, expanded the rule book. And let's see if that is actually better written and leaves less open for interpretation. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. Because of course the older game was very rules light and left a lot of things open for interpretation. So there was a lot of home brewing going on, house ruling. Yeah. So there we go. All of the rules. Here's Mentor once again. So it is Mentor. I'm convinced. And here is the board, which is huge. Let's see how they folded this. All right, like that. And then like this. And there we go. And it does seem to be slightly bigger than the original board, which is good. slightly larger squares, because the old one was 1 inch exactly, and yeah, didn't leave a lot of room. So the bigger the better. And this one has the HeroQuest logo on the side here, on the shorter side, where the original board had it here on the longer side. And it just folded double, which is why the box was bigger as well. So yeah, it looks nice. Otherwise, it looks almost exactly like the original with the same kind of tiles and colors. I can see that it has been redone, but it's very faithful to the original. So that's pretty cool. All right, so I'll fold that up again. Here we go. Here is a spacer for the board. And then we have another tray, which I will just get out like this. So basically it's just 2 trays of miniatures, the board and some tokens, and of course the booklets. Ah, but the furniture isn't here. That is amazing. Ah, that's so good. But of course, yeah, we all know that the classic game had cardboard furniture with parts of plastic. And this snaps into place really nice. Has these indentations on the corners to keep the lid in place, so it doesn't just fall off. That's good. We have the cards here. Yes, let's take a look at the paperwork first. Wow, that is quite the hefty block note here, and that is really good. I love that. Plenty of character sheets here to go around, which is great. And you can, of course, always laminate a few. I laminate like 4 of them so you can reuse them. But this is pretty good. That's a lot. You won't run out quickly, so that's perfect. And we have the cards here. And I like that they used paper to wrap them up. They do that a lot these days, which is good. Saves on plastic, because we don't want too much plastic going around. So, well, of course the tray and everything here is plastic, but you know, if you can save some plastic somewhere, that is always a good step in my book. So let's just rip that off. And the cards are really nice. They have this linen finish, and they feel really good. They have some, yeah, this because of the paper, of course, a little bit of wear, but I'll probably sleeve these. Oh, that's really nice. Updated artwork for the treasure cards, and this artwork does look exactly, well, maybe not exactly, but a lot like the original. I'm sure this is an updated version as well, but again, very true to the original, where you find a gem in an old boot with gold coins. Yeah, it's definitely upgraded. And I also like that they made the parchment more yellowish and brown. The older ones were basically just brown ink on white. So, yep, hazard, another hazard, which was called a trap before. Heroic Brew again, almost like the original, but updated art. I love this. Heroic Brew. We have jewels in the chests. A potion of defense. This is new because it has now the female dwarf, I believe. So that's pretty cool. Potion of healing. Yes, there we go. We have a potion of strength. A wandering monster. Also new art for that one. Quite a lot of those. I don't remember there being that many. The genie is new art, so that's these are all the treasure cards. Then we have the elemental spell cards. So we have the air spells, completely new art. Used to have kind of like a genie made out of clouds, I believe. The genie card is one of them, opens any door or use 5 combos. Yeah, it's pretty much the same. Swift wind, so you can roll twice for movement. The tempest card to make a monster miss their turn. So that's the 3 air spells, exactly like the original game. The fire spells, really cool. More or less the same flame elemental that was on the original cards, but again, newer artwork. Ball of flame with the wolf, I believe. And courage, which is now the female elf. And the fire of wrath, also new art. The fire spells. Then we have the stone, the earth spells, again with an earth elemental. Super nice. The heal body spell, which restores 4 body points. Pass through rock, which is great. A great way of cheesing the game a bit and looking into rooms that are yet unexplored. The rock skin. We have the sleep spell, which is a water spell. That is also really cool. Sleep spell, the Veil of Mist, and the Water of Healing. Then we have some others, and these are probably, yes, the Dread spells, which would have been the Chaos spells in the days of yore. But they are now Dread spells, which have this chaotic kind of, you know, magic going on. Whirlwinds and lightning, which the original cards also had, but it was more abstract. So we have a ball of flame, a cloud of dread, command, escape, fear. Oh, I love that one. The firestorm, yep. Lightning bolt, rust, sleep, summon orcs. That's cool. That's a female orc even. That's really cool. Summon undead. The zombies there. Tempest. And then, yes, those were all the dread spells. And then we have the equipment cards. Also updated armory depicted here. We have the battle axe. We have bracers. The broadsword. Broadsword. Really cool. The chainmail, again, same-ish art, updated, really cool. The crossbow. That's a great weapon. A dagger. A hand axe. The helmet. Very recognizable art. We have the holy water, and previously these were in the European and Australian, UK versions of the game, and the American version had an armory, which was basically one sheet of paper with all of these things printed on with the text and their cost on one big sheet, which also works, of course. But this, now you have an armory, you basically have a limited number of items. So you give them to the players, and then they keep those, and you know what you have, you know what's in your inventory, and it's no longer available when they're all gone. We got holy water, also a potion, a long sword, a couple of those. We got the plate mail, of course, a potion of speed. We got a shield. We got the short sword. You have a staff for the wizard. We have the toolkit, which the dwarf already inherently has. Borin's armor, classic. The rod of telekinesis, the elixir of life, the fortune's longsword, that's new to me. Orc's bane, that's a classic. The phantom blade, I don't really remember that one. And the ring of return, ring of fortitude. Spell ring, that's a classic. Spirit blade, yes, I remember that one. For slaying the undead. The talisman of lore, also a classic. The wand of magic. The wizard's cloak. The wizard's staff. This is the wizard's staff, so we have 2 staffs now. All right, so those are, oh yes, some of these were artifacts, that's right. The weapon cards, and these were, yeah, the special ones were artifacts, which you can find on quests. They do have, oh no, they don't. No, they don't have a cost. That's the difference here. All the weapons, the equipment you can buy, and the other stuff you'll have to find. So now we have, let's see, let's put these aside. We have these monster cards. Also really like the new art here. So we have those, which is basically the same that is on the back of the Game Master screen. We have their icon and their stats and some art and their name, and that's basically it. So we have the Dread Warrior now instead of the Chaos Warrior. We have the Abomination instead of the classic Fimir. We have the Gargoyle, who now looks like an actual gargoyle and no longer like, what was it again? Was it a Bloodletter of Corn, a Bloodthirster of Corn? We have a Goblin. It's also been updated. Mummy. We have Orcs, which look a lot bigger and badder. We have Skeletons with the classic Scythe. And we have the Zombies, who now have a sword and a shield on this picture. No longer the cleaver, but they might have on the miniatures. And then we have some other cards here, these HeroQuest cards. Let's take a look at those. So here are the hero cards. The Barbarian, of course, who's very strong, not very intelligent. We have the Dwarf, who is slightly less strong, slightly more intelligent, but he has the inherent ability of being able to disarm traps. And this one has the 3 attack dice, of course. Then we have the Elf, which is a bit of a all-rounder, 6 body and 4 mind. But they do get 1 set of spells, and then the Wizard gets the other 3 sets. And he only has 1 attack die, 4 body and 6 mind. There's a starting weapon even, so that's pretty cool. So we have those cards, and then we have these reference cards, 1 for each player, so you can see what you can do on your turn. So you can do a movement action and one of these actions, and that's the end. And you can do them in either order, but you can break up your movement with the nice logo on the back. So yep, that's pretty nice. We have those. All right, so those are all the cards in the base game. Let's take a look at the furniture here. So this time we have actual 3D doors. And it's kind of funny because I upgraded my classic HeroQuest with 3D doors as well from a third party, of course. And now the new edition just has those, which is a lot better, of course. So cool. The paper ones used to, get bent and, they wouldn't last very long unless you're very careful with them. We also have open doors. We actually have a lot more open doors. We have 5 closed ones and the rest is open, because generally it is unwise to just open all, to open all the doors. Well, you'd move these, so I guess you have enough. You don't explore the whole map with all the doors in place. You start opening stuff, so I guess 5 is enough. But that looks really cool. I like that. Of course, you're not literally passing your miniatures through. It's just to indicate that a door has been opened. So yeah, and they sit in here nicely. They're a bit tight. So if you paint them, that might actually chip off the paint a bit. At the top, at least. The bottom is fine. So yeah, might want to be careful with that. Then we have, this is all nice and loose in here, so that's fine. We have a lid anyway, so. This is the bookshelf, of course, which has a nice animal skull in there, as you can see. Even some wood grain in the back. It's really nicely done. Carving here. Top of the shelf. On the back looks like this. So yeah, really nice with all the wood grain everywhere. So we have 2 of those, and we have 1 cabinet here with closed doors, which you can search, of course, for hidden stuff. Also looks really nice. So we have 1 of those. Then we have the tomb, which is also really cool. Looks a lot like the original, only now, of course, and it does open, so that's pretty cool. Actually put something inside. So that's pretty nice. The classic one was, of course, cardboard with just the top being plastic. So that's nice. We have that. The fireplace, which used to be a plastic base and a cardboard fireplace that you slotted in. Now it's completely plastic
And they left the portrait so you can paint in whatever you want. That's excellent. Love this brickwork. That looks really cool. The two knights there. So we have that. Then we have 3 treasure chests, also really nicely detailed here, with the face, which is the lock. We have the handles on the sides. Nothing on the back, not even... so that's, yeah, very simplistic chest, but looks nice. Yeah, I do miss the hinges there. And we have 3 of those. Then we have some rats, which used to sit on top of the shelves. These are really small, so I'm gonna have to try and get these out. But now they don't have pegs to put them on the shelf, so you can just put them somewhere loose. They're just tiny little rats, which is nice that they did include these actually. Just the little rats scurrying around the dungeon, which is basically just dressing. Then we have the alchemist's bench, which is nice. Has the scales here, which used to be a separate thing, a loose thing. That's actually on the bench. We have the bottles here and all kinds of stuff. A drawer that's open, an amulet, some paper and ink. So yeah, that looks good. We have the weapon rack, which is always nice. You might find something useful on there. We have some shields, some weapons. Also, again, pretty much the same as the original, just updated sculpt. And yeah, it looks really cool. We have some tables. Very plain table with the wood grain there. That looks nice, even on the bottom. So that's really cool. So we have that. 2 of those in here. We have the throne. Also really cool. Look at that detail. That's real. Whoa. Ugh. Hinges. Ah, there we go. Drop that. So yeah, it has the little heads there under the armrests and what looks to be wings, and some engraving in all the wood there. That's really nice. So we have that. Then we have the rack. Ooh. And the classic one always would have had 2 of these handles, one on each side, and they would always break off. But this is pretty cool. You have the chains and the shackles there, with an arm still in. That's really nice. Look at that. The stone slab on which it rests. Very cool. And finally, the sorcerer's table with the book and the candles. And it even has some drawers in there. So that looks good. Really nice. So all the furniture is there. And we do also have some more dressing, which is really cool. Huh. We have some skulls here, some human skulls and some animal skulls, it seems. Yeah, that's really cool, because you'd have skulls that you also pegged on the bookcases, just like the rats used to. But yeah, now they just made them separate, so they just left them on the sprue and put 3 of those things in here so you can cut them off. And of course, afterwards, this whole insert is kind of pointless because, you know, you'd have these tiny loose things just rattling around. So that's a bit strange, I'll have to admit. But I am pretty glad that they put those in. It's just fun little dressing. All right, so those are all these models. I'll close this again. I like that this closes so nicely and so snugly. And we have, of course, the sleeve that goes around it. And then finally, we have, of course, the miniatures, the monsters and the heroes. I'll take that off. But let's take a look at the dice first. Of course, the movement dice are two simple D6s, red, plastic this time. They used to be wood, which was pretty cool, to be honest. So yeah, so just some simple red dice for movement. And then we have the attack and defend dice. So they have the 3 skulls on it, which of course indicates a hit. And we have the 2 shields for the heroes for defense, and the 1 shield for the enemies, the monsters, as defense. Which now totally looks like a monster skull and not like a cute bunny, which used to be the case. So we have 6 of those, which is pretty good. Now, all right, let's start. Let's start with the heroes, shall we? So here's the wizard, and this is great. See, these minis sit in here nice and loose, so you can paint these and just keep this insert. That's just really well done. I heard that the first edition and the slightly taller box was very tight, just like the doors really are. But this is great. So you don't have to replace that. Here's the wizard in a pose that's very reminiscent of the original, of course, holding the arm up, casting a spell, no doubt, and the other arm holding his staff. He's got the cloak. And they even made them in the classic colors. You know, the heroes were red, the orcs and goblins were green, the Fimir were green, and the undead were white, and the rest of them were gray. So this is the first one. Then we have the elf, which is a female now in the core box. It's pretty nice. Lots of detail there. She got some stuff on her belt. She's got the armor on, the sword. Nice looking cape. Looks kind of feathery. So yeah, that's the elf. Then we have the dwarf, which also has had an update. A very dynamic pose with a huge axe. That's really cool. Because the original sculpts were a bit more static, and these are more dynamic, which I do like. So that's the dwarf, looking really nice there. Very detailed. And of course the barbarian, with his giant broadsword, standing on a rock, holding the sword up, just like the original, but a bit more dynamic once again. Ready to strike. So that's really cool. Alright, so those are the 4 heroes. Let's see, what else do we have here? So here we have an orc, a female orc, holding a giant mace there, which is cool. So we have that. So there's 2 of those in the box. Then we have these 2 female orcs, different sculpt. These are holding a nasty looking blade. And yeah, they look really cool. I don't think I've ever had female orcs. Maybe some Reaper Bones sculpts actually, but in most games, the orcs are all male. So that's quite nice. There's one game though, which is kind of an homage to HeroQuest, and that was HeroQuest Warpath. That one did have minis of all genders basically. So that's nice to see. So 4 of those. Yeah, 2 of these, 2 of these. Then we have some male orcs. Looking really cool. I like that. Look at that snarl on that face. And a big blade. Very bulky. Look at that armor. I love the detail on this. This is really good. And it's a sturdy kind of plastic. So, you know, not too afraid of handling these. It won't break easily. And it's not too floppy either. So yeah, I like it. Good quality plastic. And all of them are on round bases, which I like. They used to have square bases, but think round is more practical. And here we have a goblin. Really gremlin-like looking goblin. It's pretty cool. And this one is holding a cleaver. We have 2 of those and 2 of these as well. We have some different sculpts here. Oh, we have more orcs. More orcs. 2 more male orcs in this sculpt with an axe. Walking forward. Really cool. I love the pose. It's wearing the same type of armor. Big boots and the shin guards. Yeah, he's not wearing boots. It's just shin guards. You can see his toes. And he's got the arm guards as well. That's really nice. So 2 of those. Then we have some more goblins. And this one, female goblin. Haha, cool. With 2 daggers. Some earrings. Little goblins. It's really nice to see all the different sculpts. Because of course the originals were pretty much all the same. They just had different weapons. And now you actually have different sculpts, different genders, different weapons. And that is fantastic. So we have 2 of those. All right, then we have some undead. So we have 4 of these mummies. Shambling forward with their arms out. Left arm out. Yeah, really cool. Also a bit reminiscent of the old sculpt, but that one had his arm down. And yeah, this is really cool. Looks very menacing and scary. So we have 2 of these and 2 of these. And it's hard to tell, of course, with mummies, if they were male or female, because they're so mummified. But it doesn't really matter in this case, I think. This one's got the... Oh no, this is a zombie. Yeah, of course, this is a zombie. Remember it from the art. So we got 2 zombies with a sword and a shield. And 2 mummies. Because the expansion of the Witch Lord had more of those. And then we have... the skeleton with the classic scythe, holding it the other way though, but that's okay. So that's pretty cool. Wearing some armor still. But yeah, I like that. I like that they kept the scythe, even though that's not really a battle weapon. It does look very iconic. So we have 4 of those. So we've been through all of these over here. Now on to the bigger one. So we have the Chaos, the previously called, excuse me, Chaos Warriors. Now they're called Dread Warriors these days, of course. Due to licensing, obviously. But really cool. I mean, look at that armor. Look at that angry demon-like face on the body armor. The cool helmet with the horns. And the shield there. Yeah, so definitely Dread is a good name. And I like the cape there and the huge weapon. Very heavily armored Dread Warriors then. 4 of those, of course. And then we have 3 abominations. Which look like deep ones, really. You know, fish people. And yeah, that's cool. I like them. I like the way they look. But it's a bit odd to have fish people in a dungeon. So it wouldn't have been my choice of replacement for the Fimir. I would have probably came up with something else, maybe troglodytes or something. Because fish people feel kind of out of place. I would have probably made a separate expansion, an aquatic expansion, which would have these. But, you know, the sculpt is really good. The sculpt's really nice. It's got some armor on the shoulders here. And some armor on the legs. And that's pretty much it. Just some basic arm and leg protection. And a nasty looking spear. So we have 3 of those, and then finally we have the gargoyle. That was the centerpiece of the classic game. And really, right now, in this modern version, it doesn't feel like that, which is good, because they all seem very nice, and they all look really, really good and detailed. So it isn't immediately the first thing your eye goes to when you open this box, because they're all so good. And I do like it. I used to have a whip and this very sword. Now it has a pole arm, I guess, with an axe blade. An halberd, if you will. And it has a tail as well. With the wings, with the stone cracks. That is also really nice. So an actual gargoyle. All right, so those were all the miniatures, and that is everything that is in the new edition of HeroQuest, the base game. I will also do an unboxing of Against the Ogre Horde soon, so keep an eye on my channel for that as well.
And so that was my unboxing of HeroQuest by Hasbro and Avalon Hill. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And also please check out my Patreon page by following the link in the description below or clicking the icon at the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time on Board Game Heaven.